everyone. I'm here at the AI4 conference and look who I have with me, Sam from Hammerspace. Sam, welcome to the Ravit Show. It's your debut. I'm super excited to chat with you today.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for having me today.
Sam, just for our audience, would you like to quickly introduce yourself? Tell us more about what you do at Hammerspace.
Sure. My name's Sam Newnam. I'm Senior Director of AI Solutions here at Hammerspace. So my job is how do we go to market with a product, right? It's
Right.
not just about having great technology. It's about the reference architectures. It's about our ecosystem partnerships. It's really about how we work with our partners in the community to deliver solutions, not just products, to our customers.
That's fantastic. Just for our audience, I'm also kind of curious to know about how did the company name originate? I know from the a phrase from the comic books, but then kind of curious to know a little bit more about the name.
Yeah, so you're right. Hammerspace came from comics and the anime, right? Where our cartoon character would reach in, grab a hammer or whatever tool they needed from seemingly unknown space, right? But they had whatever they needed. And so that was kind of the founding idea behind our technology, right? Is you need data, it can come from anywhere, right? It should come from storage wherever it's located.
Right.
And so it was the same concept is that enterprises need data from wherever they can reach into space and grab it.
Yeah. Okay. These are fantastic insights in great way to bring in the name. Also, from your perspective, what business pressures or industry shifts are driving the need to invest in scalable AI infrastructure? Curious to know that, and how are the trends shaping up right now? What's the priority? Because you talk to a lot of customers, enterprise leaders out there.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think it comes from a number of places, right? One is competition, right? It's like if
Competition.
you're not using AI, it's like, are you behind, right? Whether
Yeah.
that's research, whether that's automation, whether that's efficiencies inside your business.
Yep.
So I think every business has this push to be better, right? Every leader should. And the trouble is how does that proliferate through the organization, right? You've got employees trying to do code faster, you've got customers wanting to support chatbots, you've got all kinds of interactions in the service retail industry. And so I think a lot of the pressure is we've got to do something, right? But I think they're having a hard time figuring out exactly what that is or where to start.
Great points there. Yeah, definitely. It's more about this. First of all, the space is moving very quickly, and that becomes a challenge as well for enterprise leaders out there. But from a customer perspective as well, what are the challenges that customers are bringing to you most often as they try to unify data for enterprise scale AI agent deployments? Are there any specific points that you can share with our audience?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think first of all, we hear a lot about just the chaos of the data estate, right? Data silos exist in every organization, whether it's inside the data center, whether
Right.
it's in their cloud, whether it's coming out of some SaaS application. So most people struggle with how do I start? How do I get data visibility to everything?
Very
Right?
true.
Which we talk a lot about global namespace. And then second is they get strung with talent shortages, right? Everybody thinks they have to go hire the next AI person.
Yeah.
And the reality is we think we can help customers start where they are with those particular journeys, right? With the storage they have on the floor by unifying that. But a lot of it is around data visibility and silos.
Yeah, I think data visibility is like the talk of the town for a lot of enterprise leaders. And when they kind of start talking about AI, they're like, tell us about the visibility of data. At the same time, the quality of data. So all those things kind of play a very important role. Also, just because we're on this topic, the terms data gravity and data friction have become parts of many conversations right now. How does Hammerspace, you know, uh, help in those areas, and what are customers feeling about it?
Yeah, no, now we're getting deep, right? So
Yeah.
starting with data gravity is, I think that's a term we've always talked about, building, our data centers around these massive monolithic storage systems, right?
Yep.
And now we're getting to the point where data needs to be everywhere, right? And really gravity shifted. It's not data gravity, it's really GPU gravity, right?
GPU
And
gravity.
arguably power gravity,
Yep.
right? Because people are sticking GPUs anywhere they can where they have enough power cooling pink pipe. Like
Right.
we're back to the plumbing problems in data centers again. And so we kind of look at that, and then you get into data friction, which is that data usable? To your point, you said, you've got to figure out, is it valuable? Is it the right sets of data? And then is
Exactly.
it located where it can even be used, right? And
True.
so I think that's really the choice, and enterprises are at this kind of, fork in the road, for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah.
To figure out, hey, I have a lot of these aging systems, right? You think about unstructured data, normally sat on a NAS system, right? And it wasn't always the most performant, right? We're thinking about home directories, research, SIFs,
Yeah.
all these types of shares. And so now that data needs to be performant. And so they're trying to figure out, well, do I buy another storage silo and forklift all that stuff over? Or can I find a better way to put that together? And that's where we think Hammerspace really has a unique story of being able to join storage where it lives today, but still provide speed and efficiency to where
Very
it needs
important.
to be, right?
Yeah. No, I think that's a very important point when it comes to the efficiency, but at the same time, speed kind of plays a very important role in terms of the scalability too. Looking ahead, talking a little bit about the future as well. What trends, emerging technologies, or infrastructure innovations do you believe will be essential for supporting the enterprise AI workloads? But otherwise as well, how should leaders prepare for today to stay in the competition, because enterprise leaders want to obviously get the best always.
Yeah. So I think leaders first have to think about data, not storage, right? And right now we've always built things around storage. Now we have to think about data that transcends provider, geography, and protocol, right? As you look at agentic workflows, right, as agents are starting to make decisions, they need vast amounts of access to data.
True.
And even at a conference like this, we'll see so much physical AI, robots, humanoid stuff. Think about the 4K video and sensor data that's going around. So I think the trouble is leaders are still trying to design just for generative AI, right? How do I get my first project out? And I think they've really got to think about future-proofing their organization and how they plan for data needing to be available everywhere to any endpoint, to any device, and being able to make that data flow seamlessly through their applications.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a very important point around agentic AI and the agents actually making the decision. One quick follow-up question around that is, in the next, I'm not going to say in 3 to 5 years, I'm just going to say in the next maybe 12 months, how do you see agents kind of evolving as well? And how's Hammerspace, what's the Hammerspace story there?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're internally developing some agents to look at storage latency,
Oh, nice.
problems, all sorts of stuff. Part of it is we should drink our own champagne, right? So being able to understand why things aren't running like they should is a great analytics use case for AI to tackle, right?
Right.
So if we go to run certain job, we could say, hey, we saw latency across this network, in this file system, et cetera. But more importantly, developing MCP services, right? Because I think,
Very important.
the whole idea of agentic services in general is they've got to be able to talk to different toolings, right? So we're working very hard on that release. And as well as really kind of thinking about, 12 months out, I think it's going to be here faster than that. I think certain enterprises are skipping generative in general and going right to, hey, how do I automate billing process and pulling PDFs out of emails and all this sort of stuff.
Wow.
And that's all agent workloads, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you think about so much of the automation they're trying to bring in and real-time inventory decisions in retail and hospitality, like the hotels we're at, this type of stuff, right? So I think a lot of those type of agents will be here faster than we think.
These are fantastic insights, Sam, and definitely 2025 is the year of agents, and things are moving very fast when you kind of say Gen AI, and then there are companies which are skipping that part and getting to agents first, is really insightful. One last question for our audience is, I'm pretty sure you all have like a lot of content that you all share online, but if they want to read more about Hammerspace, about the new updates that you all put out, and I know there's a dummies books as well, so where can they do that? And also if they want to reach out to you, which is the best place? Maybe LinkedIn, or some other social channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think LinkedIn's a great way, right? Or talk to your local channel partner. We're doing a lot with the community right now.
Yep.
Because AI is a stack solution, right? Well, we're providing a foundation for data. There's so much more that has to do with the GPUs and data categorization,
Right.
that sort of stuff. Obviously, they can visit hammerspace.com, right, for tons of details. We're keeping that really updated with a whole bunch of new content that's coming over the next couple
Love it.
quarters.
Yeah.
And we're excited to chat. Stop by our booth here. If you're at the AI4 conference, it's booth 124.
Amazing. This is great, Sam. Such a pleasure chatting with you on the Ravit Show. We'll keep the conversation going. I know you have amazing insights, but looking forward to a part 2 very soon.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today.